Fam, what's going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. I'm going to walk you through it. I appreciate you guys being here. Please let me know where you're watching from inside the comment box. I appreciate it. There's a lot to go over. I know you just saw Damon Payne hit the transfer portal. Here's an updated list of the players that have hit the transfer portal. There's been a couple, and I'll go into detail about the transfer portal, and we'll talk more about Jaylen Mbakwe as we open up the show. But I just wanted to say good morning to everybody in here, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. It's been wild. It has been crazy. I can't even believe it's Tuesday. Remember, the transfer portal doesn't close for Alabama until January 5th. So as news happens, we'll get you covered right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Good morning to everybody inside the comment box. Jarvis, Bentley Boy, Max Tooney, Alabama Superfan, Byron Russell, Marcus, Big Chevy 205, Bama Moore, Todd Tipton, what's up, my boy? Alyssa, what's going on? Old Rock Guy, Jarvis, I think I said it double time. Rocket Town, Marcus, and Adam, what's going on? I appreciate you guys being here, and good morning to you right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So here's a full list of the players that have hit the transfer portal. And I get it. We're going to go over the Jaylen Mbakwe stuff in just a minute, but let me warm up the show. Dig Blood is coming to us from Montana. That's what's up. That's amazing. Yeah, I love to. I've been to Bozeman one time. I love Montana. It was absolutely beautiful. So I think a good place to start is the fact that Damon Payne just hit the transfer portal. So what I did was I put together a full list, and I'll go full screen on this just for a little bit of full screen detail, because I think it gets a little bit overwhelming in terms of the players that are transferring and the targets. So let's go over the Alabama transfers right here. We also have T up in the house. T.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, we got T up in the house coming in nice and clear. And you have up at the top, as you can see, you have Caleb Odom, right? And I put, if you have some detail into where these players might be visiting, go ahead and add it inside the comment box, and we'll continue to update this as we go forward. But I get it. There's a lot of guys here. There's 15. I took off Danny Lewis, and as you can see, when you go to Jaylen Mbakwe, it was about mid-range on this screen right here. I put that unsure if he's still in the portal. I don't know if he's in the portal as of this point in time. It looks like he was going to go into the portal. You know the story. And it looks like he's meeting with Coach Kalen DeBoer today. So I just put unsure if he's in the portal. But all these other guys, and, of course, I took off Danny Lewis, and I just added Damon Payne up here. There's 15 total. And I just saw a tweet by team reporter Mike Rodak. I'm sure you already follow him. He's saying that Alabama has 65 healthy players going into this bowl game. So that's where it is. I mean, is it a Marshall-type situation? No, but Marshall had 25 guys at the transfer portal. Alabama has 15. What are you, 10 away? I don't think we get to that point, right? But it seemed I didn't anticipate more guys hitting the transfer portal this week for whatever reason. I kind of felt like because we were getting closer to the bowl game, I thought that the first week that the portal opened, that would kind of be it. But now seeing more names kind of circulate around the portal, it is what it is. And of course, as news happens, we got you posted. Now, when we look at transfer portal targets, okay, here's a full list, and we'll go over it again. And if you have any others that we haven't shown on the screen, please let us know what else you're seeing out there, and we'd appreciate it. So from you guys inside the comment box, this is what we have so far. And these are transfer portal targets, okay? So there's a couple new visitors and a couple other guys who I don't really have information about. So I know that Cameron Calhoun, Rivals tweeted this out this morning. He's a defensive back. He's from Utah, but I think he has ties to Michigan as well. So he'd be making his third stop. He's undecided. He'll be visiting at some point in time. Clearly, Alabama needs some defensive backs. Cody Hardy, you probably take him off the board considering that Danny Lewis is now staying. You have Gabe Brownlow, defensive line, Texas A&M. Believe he visited last week. Isaiah Horton is a name that everybody should get excited about. Now, Isaiah Horton is a very talented wide receiver from Miami, and he had a very productive season. Alex, what's up, man? I see you with the super chat. Thank you so much. Isaiah Horton is a very talented prospect, okay? And Todd Tipton is saying that Collins canceled his South Carolina visit. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But if you've seen Horton play, 6'4" wide receiver that is ultra talented, okay? Ultra talented, all right? I don't know when he'll be committing, when he will be deciding, but the big recruiting sites have predicted him to commit to Alabama. So I know you've been looking for good news. When is the good news going to come? Well, it could come soon with Isaiah Horton. Now, honestly, I know we gas up all these prospects coming in, coming out, or whatever, but Isaiah Horton would be a big deal, 100%. Khalid Toffee is an offensive lineman out of Washington. He's expected to commit. I'm sure there's some ties there with him and Coach Jaylen DeBoer. Cam DeBerry is a new name that we are tracking, an offensive lineman out of Texas A&M. Yeah, Casey Concepcion, a wide receiver out of NC State. Visited last week. I'm sure he's going to go around. And recently in Colorado, you have Kelby Collins, right, defensive lineman, Florida. Luke Haas, he committed to Ole Miss, as did Patrick Cudis. Mario Craver, an in-state prospect that committed to Mississippi originally, he visited yesterday. He's a wide receiver. And then you have Nate Boeriker, a name that's been mentioned, but I haven't seen that he's visiting or anything like that. All right. So here's a kind of a look at the transfer portal. And when you see guys inside the transfer portal, I think like two guys really jump out in terms of like I would be super excited to get. One is Isaiah Horton, and the other is Casey Concepcion. So will these guys commit? Alabama's going to get theirs, as Tyler is saying, inside the comment box. But, you know, the transfer portal taketh, and you'll get yours from the transfer portal. When? I don't know. So I know this is what you're all here for. And the latest on Jaylen Mbakwe. And if you've been following this like for the last 24 hours, you're probably caught up to speed for the most part. Kind of walk you through it. If you didn't have time to kind of sift through the information yesterday. Earlier in the day, it was Charlie Potter, Bam Online, mentioned that there was a good chance that Jaylen Mbakwe goes into the transfer portal. Now, it took a long time for the news, kind of the rumor mill started circulating, simmering, if you will. And then later on the day, like news broke that he actually was filing paperwork to go into the transfer portal, right? Every person had a story on it. We had a video included, right? So he even puts out this statement. I don't know if it was 100% ChatGPT related. Is there programs that you could figure out if it was like ChatGPT?
Yeah, there are.
So what they'd have to do is they'd have to copy out the text, right, and then put it in.
Yeah, and then there's a program you can put it into. It'll search and search out the code and see if it was AI written.
well, if he had ChatGPT, I don't like. What's the big deal on that? But he put this out, okay, on his social media account. He put the lottery sign as well. So clearly, people were saying, reportedly, it was a 7-figure deal. Now, I think what made it close to like our hearts is the fact that Jaylen Mbakwe and Ryan Williams are so tight, right? They have their podcast together. Eventually, and I think the other thing is like Jaylen Mbakwe is going to be that guy, okay? And how would it affect the corner room? Well, we don't really know. I mean, if you have Damani Jackson coming back and you have Xavier Brown, could he play Husky? Now, all this is happening, right? So then you go back and at the evening time, Ryan Williams drops this mega bomb and he's just like, bingo, we got action. Everybody saw it, okay? Whenever Ryan Williams speaks, people are going to see it. He's probably the most powerful man in Tuscaloosa, to be honest. Okay? I think there's Nick Saban now that he's kind of removed and with ESPN, but Ryan Williams is the guy that makes things happen. Okay? So last night he put this out and everybody's trying to decipher what a 17-year-old says. I have a teenager. I'm sure you do too. If you're a parent, you have no idea. if you start digging into it, does it mean, and let me ask you inside the comment box, do you think his message, bingo, we got action, meant that Alabama not necessarily might not be willing to match that 7-figure offer, but they figured out a way to keep Jaylen Mbakwe here at Alabama? That's what it's kind of seeming like. It's seeming like Alabama, I'm sure they're going to upgrade his pay, but trying to figure out how to keep Jaylen Mbakwe. Is that kind of what you're taking away from this? I just saw something before I jumped on. It was literally on Facebook, so take it with a grain of salt. But it said that Coach Kalen DeBoer and Jaylen Mbakwe are going to meet today. I'm sure they've been meeting yesterday and today, right? Now, the thing is, we're never going to know. Yeah, I saw that. In fact, I love Next Friday. Who doesn't? I felt that I love Next Friday, but I love the original, and of course, like Friday After Next and Next Friday. I was watching that, like the movie quote this morning. Someone pointed it out, and I was like, oh yeah, I get it. But clearly, he's posting it in terms of like it meaning something. I don't think he just posted it to post it. Even Keelan Russell mentioned it, right? He was like, don't count Bam out just yet. And Bentley Boy is saying word is Freddie Roach may be replaced. I also saw that rumor out there too. I don't know. I mean, I think when a lot of people talk about Freddie Roach, like really what has he done here at Alabama in terms of recruiting defensive linemen? I mean, he's already lost 3. Let me ask you, have you been happy with Freddie Roach? Yes or no? He has a big name because he's associated with Alabama, but I mean, what has he really done? I haven't really been impressed, to be honest. He's kind of like he's cut from Saban's cloth, but I don't know. Right? Bamadoo, what's up? See? What was the question, T?
If everyone's been happy with Freddie Roach.
See, and that's the thing. But see, there, like you have Scott, who's inside the comment box that's saying that he can recruit. But I'm like, man, in terms of the development from the defensive line,
yeah,
something has really changed with them.
Who did he pull in, like recruiting wise?
Well, I mean, when you look at the defensive lineman, we'll look at the defensive lineman because Damon Payne just hit the transfer portal. If you're here, we have Damon Payne, who just hit the transfer portal. I think you can certainly recruit defensive linemen, but in terms of like where Alabama was in terms of before Freddie Roach, I think a lot of people see like what Bo Davis was able to do in terms of develop players. And what players have really developed here? Tim Keenan, I guess you could argue. Jaheim Otis, he wasn't it. Damon Payne, we were kind of waiting for him. Tim Smith, it seems like these players never really, right? James Smith, he's good. So I don't know. Freddie Roach is kind of synonymous with the name, but a lot of people haven't been impressed with him. Bamadoo 35 is LT Overton staying. We have no idea. He hasn't put out a message or anything like that. I don't know. But before we move on, let's talk more about Jaylen Mbakwe. Let me ask you. Do you feel that it would be a loss to lose Jaylen Mbakwe? Yes or no? Can you ask that, T? I personally do. I think it would be a loss. Because, look, I'm going to show you this board right here. Of all these guys to hit the transfer portal, there's a couple of them that I think, would be a loss. Like, we can go back and forth on this. I still feel that Justice Haynes would be a loss. I really do. I like his game. I think he's a good kid. I think he's good to the locker room. He gets touches. He'd be a good addition to Jam Miller. Like, that could be a nice combo. But because you have Richard Young, you're fine. Some of these other guys, look, they might find a better playing opportunity somewhere else based on their skill set, different offense, whatever, and Alabama has guys to replenish and replace some of these guys, right? But, like, here's why, like, 2 guys for me that I feel should have – that I would like to see here in 2025. One is long gone. That's Caleb Odom. I feel that Caleb Odom has the talent 100% to contribute here. It might just take him some time. I wish he would have rethought. but he's gone, and we wish him the best. But with Jaylen Mbakwe, I think that it would be an impactful loss because I feel that his skill set, once he finally does develop, I think he's an absolute NFL guy. I think he's an all SEC type corner. And I think he has, I mean, kind of, and the reason I'm saying this is because I remember what Coach Saban was talking about, right? Like, Coach Saban was so high on Jaylen Mbakwe. And I find it ironic that, you know, maybe in the final minutes of Jaylen Mbakwe leaving, you have Ryan Williams being the biggest recruiter for him when it was Jaylen Mbakwe who was recruiting Ryan Williams last year. You see what I'm saying? Think about that. Because last year, remember, who got Ryan Williams here?
Yeah, it was Mbakwe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Jaylen Mbakwe selling Ryan Williams on Coach Kalen DeBoer's new philosophy, right? And now I think it might be, I think Ryan Williams, being the megaphone that he has and the person that he is, was able to, you know, be like, yo, we gotta keep Jaylen Mbakwe. Now the problem is it's not a problem, but you had Damani Jackson coming back. I don't think that's such a bad thing. I think you could put Jaylen Mbakwe at a couple different positions. Can he play Husky? Probably. He's athletic enough, right? Think about it. Jaylen Mbakwe played safety other than corner in high school. Jaylen Mbakwe played on each side of the ball, right? I'm sure you guys saw this as well. There's talk about Jaylen Mbakwe maybe playing on the offensive side of the ball. See, Bamadu's seen the same thing, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm telling, dude, Jaylen Mbakwe is an absolute talent. I think I remember him. Think about this. He was I believe, if I remember right, he was a track athlete. I think his long jump was like 22 feet. Like, the dude, he's an NFL guy. Just give him time to develop. Is he worth seven figures? I have no idea who's worth what. But if there's money to pay, and they can fit it in and it makes sense for the university, then, you know, pay him. But you'd be lying if somebody came to you with a huge offer, seven-figure offer, and you didn't take it. You would. Even if you were all in on Bama, and you can't be mad at, you know, don't hate the player, hate the game. And this is where college football is. College football, there's no contracts. You could just literally leave once the transfer portal window opens. Think about this. A player could literally just enter the portal for 1 hour, 30 minutes, get all these offers, and then take it to Coach Kalen DeBoer and be like, look, these schools are willing to pay this for me. Can you match it? That's not right. I think I saw what Casey Poe also yesterday was like, if they ain't wearing crimson, then, you know what they say. I hope they keep Jaylen Mbakwe. Let me ask you inside the comment box. Do you hope that Alabama keeps Jaylen Mbakwe? Yes or no inside the comment? Do you care? I personally think they need to keep him. And I hope they do. I hope that they figure things out, and I hope that Jaylen Mbakwe stays. They'll have to. Well, look, people forget. By the time we get to spring football, people forget that this happened. But I do hope they figure things out for Jaylen Mbakwe. And I saw someone inside the comment box saying that justice isn't a big loss. I disagree with that. I don't think it's like a monumental loss, but I do think it's a loss. I'm not worried about it because you have Richard Young and Jan Miller coming back, right? And here's the corner room in 2025 if Jaylen Mbakwe, depending on what he does. And again, maybe he could play another position. I liked him returning punts. I liked Ryan Williams returning punts. The other thing that you have to wonder about, and this goes with all the prospects. Hey, T, could you read out Justin T's comment inside the comment box?
Yeah, he's saying Coach KD said he expected players in the portal, but nothing like they had when he took the coaching job. We are approaching that level of departures, though.
Yeah.
many did we lose last year?
I mean, when Coach Saban, well, because there was two different times, right?
Like in the mass
yeah,
exodus.
there was like a mass exodus. So I think you'd have to look at it in two different ways. I would say this is a little bit more than I anticipated for right now. And shoot, we're still on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at is that I think people behind these athletes are talking, as I always say, and be like, hey, we can get more money here. You can play immediately. Let's take it. I don't know if that's always the case. I brought up some points on a video that I uploaded this morning and said that who's to say that and I'm not saying that this happened, but you could basically say this. Hey, coach, this school is offering me this. Me and my agent want this to stay. I mean, if I'm the coach, I'm like, you got to do what's best for you. But you could theoretically say that. Jason, I'm with you. Jason Tolbert, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Saying Bach was a great punt returner. I think people get caught up in the bobble punt that he had, but the guy has it. I'm telling you. I haven't really seen the Freddie Roach stuff out there. Just about what T, can we see what's up on social media? I didn't see like one of the main like team site people talking about Freddie Roach leaving. Where are they saying that Freddie Roach would go? Like, would he take like another defensive line position? Because, I think he's the associate head football coach here. So I think the title that they gave him was an elevated pay raise along with Robert Gillespie. And those are the only two coaches that were retained from Coach Saban's staff, right? I think it's like assistant head coach is Freddie Roach or something. Or same thing with Robert Gillespie. Hey, Chief 18 Wheels, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. Yeah, I think you have Mike Rodak just tweeted out that Alabama has 65 players. That are healthy.
Anything about Freddie leaving?
Yeah, I ain't really.
I'm seeing people say that he needs to, but not that he's from any reporter.
Let us know inside the comment box if you've seen like a reporter say something about Freddie Roach. I haven't seen it yet, so at this point I'd probably just label it a rumor. And I think that was interesting too. Now that I think about it, the only name that was mentioned in Jaylen Mbakwe's ChatGPT message was Coach Roach. He didn't even mention Coach Lindquist.
Yeah. Huh.
Right? He said that, thank you, Coach Kalen DeBoer and Coach Roach. Interesting. I have no idea. I'd probably just put it in a rumor. I think when you look to Deshaun Jones, Zay Mincy, look, Deshaun Jones, I thought he was okay. He was okay. Zay Mincy, I think Zay Mincy has a very high ceiling. I wouldn't even mind to see if he could do something at the safety position considering his size. And then what makes you feel better when I was talking about this yesterday is if Jaylen Mbakwe does transfer or whatever, you have Dejon Lee coming in. So Dejon Lee, and if you've seen him, and no disrespect to Chuck McDonald, I'm sure, he'll get there as well. But Dejon Lee, he looks like a player. But how long are you going to have all these guys? I don't know. You know what I wanted to do as well? I'm going to write this down. Is kind of go to the class of 2023 and just look at what players are still here and which players transferred out. It's just going to be a rotating cycle. You're going to be able to keep your good players, but you're going to lose a lot to the transfer portal. And this is the other thing, fam, that you have to remember. When you play here at Alabama, as soon as you put on the script day, your brand and your NIL value climbs through the roof, period. You saw this yesterday, too. Danny Lewis, he withdrew his name from the transfer portal. What does that mean for the tight end room? I think what it means is I've kind of been up and down on Danny Lewis. I felt comparatively to the other tight ends, he lacked a little bit of athleticism that like a CJ Dupree, even Robbie Oots. But I think the coaching staff, and I have no idea if this happened, but considering the coaching staff has been trying to get a tight end ever since he hit the transfer portal, maybe they restructured, whatever Danny Lewis was getting, and they have Danny Lewis and Josh Cuevas as the tight ends, which I wouldn't be mad about. Because in this particular scheme, you have two tight ends that Alabama did like to play a lot. Danny Lewis. So, for example, it was C.J. Dupree and Robbie Oots that we saw on the field. I don't know if they'll continue that if you get a better right tackle. But if you have Danny Lewis and Josh Cuevas, Danny Lewis would basically be like your H-type back, and Josh Cuevas would be like your C.J. Dupree, right? Oh, thanks, Lynn Shenny, Phil. I appreciate it. What's up, James? I see you inside the comment box. Hacker Music, what's going on? Appreciate it. .440 saying that is that Mbakwe holding Alabama for ransom? And look, I have no idea if that's going to happen either, but theoretically, all this stuff could happen because there's no rules. There's no rules. How are you guys feeling about the tight end room right here on a scale of 1 to 10, your excitement? 10 being like, damn, that's the tight end room that I can't wait to see. 8, you're like, pretty good. 6, you're like, okay. Yeah, I like Josh Cuevas. Or like 5, 4, you're like, all right, tight end room is just kind of the tight end room. I have to be honest, I haven't really seen Jay Lindsey or Ty Lockwood like out on the field. I'm excited about what could be for Caleb Edwards and Marshall, even Marshall Pritchett. I know what Josh Cuevas is capable. I probably put it like as a warm 6. I'm not like, oh my God, this tight end room, you know. I'll probably put it like at a 6. J. Cole's already out for next season. I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm sure there's so much fake stuff out right now. I would stay close to like the team reporters for all like the fake stuff, because it'd be so easy to like fake stuff and just throw it up on the internet on X and be like, look what he said. Remember Ryan Williams? They said that his Snapchat got.
All you need for that is just a picture and then throw a little black box with some white text in it, and there is a Snapchat.
I know. I don't believe any of that stuff.
You can do that on Canva pretty quick.
If Pee Wee got punked, then all of us can. Mm-hmm. T's even you.
I can't remember what was it.
Everybody has. Yeah, raise your hand inside the comment box if you fell for fake news at least once. I have 100%.
Yeah.
I'm always double checking, cross checking stuff. It's confusing. All right, Jimmy Williams in with the super chat, T.
Yeah, he's saying we need to talk about these kids' education or talk to them about their education.
Well, the one stat that Coach Saban will point to is that every single time a prospect transfers, it limits their graduation rate, right?
It puts you back like at least a semester. I mean,
isn't that why you finished out here, T?
Yeah. So I think most schools want you to graduate with at least 50% of your hours from that school. So I don't know how some of these kids they're transferring 3, 4, 5 times are doing it.
For example, like a good somebody like that would be like Jeremy Bernard. Jeremy Bernard, I think a lot of people forget, started out at Michigan State, and then went to Washington, and then is now here at Alabama, right? Marcel inside the comment box saying Kobe Prentice visiting Baylor. Oh, appreciate that. Thank you so much. T, if you could.
Super chat in from Alex Wilder earlier, talking about Sader Mitchell from Texas, that Alabama's looking at him.
Okay, yeah, dig into that. And then I saw there was a Body Cleveland at 2026 that decommitted. I don't follow 2026 commits right now. It's too early. I don't really start following recruiting like up until that point, until like 2 months before. There's just too much going on. Josh Johnson inside the comment box is like, I thought Saban's retirement was fake for about 2 hours. You know, this point in time, I was talking to T about it. It kind of reminds me of when Coach Saban retired. In terms of like all the news and stuff like that, Craig is just checking in. Short story is, it looks more than likely that Jaylen Mbakwe, there's some movement between him and Alabama. So I even listed him as like unsure if the guy's even in the transfer portal. We have no idea at this point. But I haven't seen anybody this morning being like, Jaylen Mbakwe is still in the transfer portal and he's still thinking about leaving. I think it's kind of going the other way if I had to make a guess. And if I had to make like a guess right now, I'd say that Jaylen Mbakwe probably stays with Alabama. I have no idea how. I don't know if they're matching. I don't know if they're working something out to get him on the field more. No idea. It just seems today it looks like he's staying. Devontae Smith also in the transfer portal yesterday committed to Notre Dame. I think that was yesterday. Man, there's so much going on. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. But Devontae Smith, a veteran defensive back here at the University of Alabama who played the Husky position for the Crimson Tide, is now going to be headed to Notre Dame to pair up with former Alabama quarterback Tyler Buchner. Did you know that Tyler Buchner, he's in the playoffs. Think about that. Think about this. Tyler Buchner, I think the only time, who remembers Tyler Buchner? The only time I heard his name this year is he ran a fake punt for a first down. And now he's in the playoffs. So, and what was crazy is just before he hit the portal, the NCAA didn't allow you to transfer to another school and play the same sport. So he went back to Notre Dame and he was playing lacrosse. And then a judge overruled that case and he was allowed to play football. Yeah, so he's playing football. And Bamadou's saying that he's in the lacrosse playoffs too. Huh. Well, I think he's playing football. That's what
football playoffs.
He's in all the playoffs. Wow. He's a lacrosse player but plays football. Yeah, I don't know, but that is a crazy story. Remember when he came over here and we saw him, bless his heart, man, when he went out against was it South Florida? And as soon as that first pass and he just got it and just threw it right into the ground. Oh man. All right, Daniel, see you, brother. You also had Emmanuel Henderson. I was kind of upset about this, to be honest. I like Emmanuel Henderson. I guess come to think about it, I liked all these receivers. Emmanuel Henderson, this guy, another in-state guy. Sean, I know, man, he was so bad. And Tommy Rees was like pushing for him to play. But you know what? So before I talk about Emmanuel Henderson, and I always talk about this, I promise you, the staff before the 2023 season wanted Dylan Lonergan to start over Jalen Milroe. I promise you. That's what I heard. That's what I heard from a former coach, okay? Derek Wilson, you're just checking in. Jaylen Mbakwe, it looks like he's more than likely going to at least thinking about staying at Alabama. That's like the main thing. And the coaching staff basically was overruled by Nick Saban that just was like, nope, we're starting Jalen Milroe, and that's it. Final say. But it wasn't, I don't think it was Ty Simpson. I think it was Dylan Lonergan. I mean, yeah, but Tommy, I remember when he came in, he looked like a child. He looked young.
Young. He is young, right?
He's like 31 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Emmanuel Henderson hit the transfer portal. This happened yesterday. In-state guy, I think, jog my memory, he came back, and when he first got here, I think he was a running back. And then I think Coach Saban moved him to receiver. And then he suffered a hip injury, which didn't allow him to play, I think, the majority of 2023. Coach Saban was really high on Emmanuel Henderson and said that he would have seen a lot of playing time had he been healthy. This year, coming into this season, clearly he didn't get the football. He only had 4 receptions. And I think if you live in the state of Alabama, you're probably surprised to, see that things didn't work out for Emmanuel Henderson because he was that talented. I think that he can go somewhere, and I think he probably have a similar season to like what Ja'Cory Brooks did at Louisville. I think those two athletes are probably similar. Because Ja'Cory Brooks, a lot of people don't talk about him. He was another guy that was injured and then transferred to Louisville. He had a pretty nice season. Oh, wow. Bama Dave is saying that Buckner is now a wide receiver. Oh, well, good for him. Lynn Shannyfield in with the super chat, T.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Lynn saying portal changes needed are number one, you have to sit out a year. Number two, you need to be forced to pay back your NIL. You or your current team, you're going to, but it has to be paid back. The collectives need this.
Yeah, damn, you know what? You just opened up a whole like different topic in terms of like what needs to be addressed with the transfer portal, right? Because I'll never forget this. Like Julian saying he came here, right? We paid him, Alabama paid him to come here, and then he transferred out, right? So basically, you got to think he got paid twice. He got paid from Alabama and by Ohio State. I don't know. Did Caden Proctor have to pay anything back to Iowa?
Well, I've looked this up before, and it says a lot of articles say that he did. A lot say that he didn't. So it's kind of up in the air. I don't know.
I mean, look, if it's not in the rules, I'd just be like, yo, I'm not comfortable here. I'm going back to Alabama. And if it's not written down in the contract, then I'm not paying back the money. Is it ugly? Yeah. Is the right thing to do to pay the money? I don't know if it's not in the contract. Man, yuck. Wild. Completely crazy stuff. Lance is saying that NIL should be a contract. There's got to be a lot of rules and parameters. Scott Mack is saying if Ryan enters the transfer portal, it'll end Bama football. Yo, if you're talking like things that would, the only thing that I think could be as big as Coach Saban retiring would be if Ryan Williams hit the transfer portal. That would be like we would have to go live all day long. We'd have to over Christmas. It would be that's all we'd track. I don't think it's going to get to that. But that's why I think it made us a little bit uncomfortable yesterday with Jaylen Mbakwe. That's a little bit too close for comfort with Ryan Williams. Plus, we love Bach. So Max is saying, according to Proctor's mom, he never took money at Iowa. Okay. Yeah.
Or he took it, but he had to pay it back, I guess. Because he would have taken it going there.
Sure. Yeah. Alabama wide receiver room with Emmanuel Henderson now. As you can see, with Emmanuel Henderson hitting the transfer portal yesterday, here's a look at the Alabama receiver room, okay? You have 4 guys that hit the transfer portal. We talked about that, showcased it. And then I started thinking about this because you have the ReliaQuest Bowl coming up. And I was like, man, okay, so 4 guys are out, and these guys aren't playing in the ReliaQuest Bowl. And then you also have Cole Adams, Jalen Hell, and I don't know if Bubba Hampton's healthy. That's 7 guys from the receiving room that are out. Now, you only used 2 during the season, really. But still, right, from a depth perspective, I mean, look at this. Let's go full screen on this real fast. Let's say we're playing the Reliance Bowl or whatever it's called. What is it called? ReliaQuest? What is ReliaQuest?
It's a cybersecurity company.
Oh, shoot. Huh. Okay. All right. So let's just say for the bowl game, this is what we're working with, okay? And Latier Brooks and Derek Meadows aren't here, so put your hand over these guys, okay? So you have, what is that? 5 wide receivers? See, this is where you get Jaylen Mbakwe. This is where you put Jaylen Mbakwe for the bowl game. You put him as a wide receiver. There you go. Solved it for you. Mm-hmm. Seriously.
Yeah.
Why not put Jaylen Mbakwe? Be like, hey, you know what? You are going to start at the ReliaQuest Bowl as a slot position wide receiver next to your best friend, Ryan Williams.
And it'd make the game a lot more exciting to watch, too, seeing,
Why can't you do that?
New receiver.
Why can't you do that? Look, Cole can't play. Jalen Hill can't play. Bubba Hampton, I think he might be injured as well.
Yeah.
Amari Jefferson, we didn't see him, but look, Jaron Hamilton and Rico Scott, I think there would be opportunities if you put Bach at receiver for the ReliaQuest Bowl. There you go. Bamadou chiming in and saying Bach played in high school QB, cornerback. Didn't he play wide receiver too? I thought he played wide receiver. I thought he played safety. 42 Justice. Can you read that out, T?
Yeah. To fix the transfer portal, I believe you need to put a salary cap on it, cut the portal from 2 windows to only 1 in the spring, and eliminate immediate eligibility.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. Is this the window of the transfer portal is so stupid. So this window's dumb, and then everything is scrunched into like 4 weeks of the college football season. Signing day, playoffs. Imagine being a head football coach. Think about this. Okay, we always talk about James Franklin. James Franklin, let's just say, because he's in the playoffs, he's done with some stuff, okay? James Franklin just had to deal with signing day. James Franklin, okay, had to deal with preparing for the big championship game against Oregon, finishing out signing day and solidifying his class, right? Had to deal with like making the playoffs and starting to prepare for SMU, along with getting ready for the transfer portal. And think about this. His backup quarterback, he just went on record saying this, that his backup quarterback wanted to be a part of the team, but based on the window, because the backup quarterback for Penn State transferred out. And he wanted to be a part of the team and finish it out, but based on that window, he had really no other option than to leave Penn State. So James Franklin dealing with all that is absolutely just crazy over the course of these last 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks. It'd be really interesting to get like a full-length hour with Coach Saban on this stuff. And clearly there's a lot of people that will say that's why, Saban stepped out. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine Coach Saban? And not that he, obviously he controls his organization, but I think the fact that Coach Saban saw that the lack of rules and parameters, it didn't make sense anymore. And I always kind of go back to what Miss Terry said. She said that the game has changed. The game has changed because of the parameters and lack thereof, so it didn't make sense anymore. Rely Quest Bowl. Is Alabama still favored by 11.5? I haven't seen the FanDuel, but they haven't listed it on the site. But I think it's still 11.5. Jarvis, where you at, man? What's the spread on this game? Here's a list, and I think if you're looking for positive news out there, and you're like, man, I want some positive news. 10.5. Go back to this graphic right here. Okay. Think about this. What if all these guys had opted out? And you go from 65, I don't know how many's on this list right now, to like 55. But all these guys, I think this is positive. I know the whole Jalen Mbakwe thing, you want him to leave and stuff like that. I get it. There will be another quarterback next year. But in terms of guys like sticking, with the team and finishing out, this should be positive. Jarvis with the $2 super saying this is truly portal combat. And this is college portal football. How about, can we call it that now? College portal football? Can we make a video game like that? College portal football? T inside the comment box. T, can you read out T's comment box? He says no. It's right under Jarvis.
You know what? I don't see it.
He says no. Saban left because the playing field has been leveled due to NIL and the transfer portal. Can't stack the team's 5-star talent. That could also be true if you're looking for other side of the coin as well. I mean, look, I think Saban, being smart enough, was able to think like, damn, he knew that Vandy was not going to be the Vandy of the past. He knew that Tennessee continues to rise. He knew that the playing field is going to be equalized because of NIL. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that 100% makes sense. Okay, Kendrick Law visiting Florida State. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I wanted to ask you, you have playoff games coming up this weekend. The early lines for some of these games. How's everybody? Is anybody seeing an upset this weekend? You got Indiana taking on Notre Dame. You got SMU traveling up to play Penn State. You got Clemson going to Texas. You have Ohio State hosting Tennessee. Post your round 1 upset inside the comment box. I love Portal Combat. College Portal Football. Kate Kyle, what's up, man? Saban did not want to continue to recruit his own players back. That's a really good point, too. T, do you have an upset for this weekend?
Okay, who all is it again? Oh, it's on the screen.
Yeah, so you have Indiana traveling to Notre Dame for the Indiana State Championship. You have SMU.
That one might be a good game, but
going up to Penn State?
yeah.
We'll have to check the weather on that one. Clemson going to Texas. That's like, I think Texas beats the brakes off them, right? And then this Tennessee Ohio State one?
Oh, that one. Yeah.
You think Tennessee beats Ohio State?
I think they could.
If they do, Ryan Day will be fired. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Sarah Crane's like, I'm 61 and know about Mortal Kombat. You know, Mortal Kombat was a solid game. When Mortal Kombat first came out, the great thing about Mortal Kombat was I wasn't at this level, but remember there was the codes on your, whether you had Genesis or SNES, with like back, up, down, B, right, and you could do like the fatalities at the end. Bama Blades is saying, yeah, bro, you're making it sound like Saban was scared of comp. In my opinion, he left because of loyalty and the kids paid for play. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways that you could look to why Saban left. I mean, he was also, 72. I mean, right when he retired. And I don't know about you, but Saban's the best thing to hit college football game day. 1,000,000%. He's great. He looks young. He's playing a lot of golf. Maybe he just want to do something different. I don't know. But you know, coach is always going to be a coach, and I'm sure it was really difficult for him to step aside. I mean, that's a hell of a topic, you know, to hit on for sure. Here's a look at the full screen where players are transferring and or where they could be visiting, and we'll update this. I think Kendrick Law, someone said Florida State, will get that added to the board. Kobe Prentice, I think Baylor. Jarvis is asking me straight up, you think we keep Mbakwe? Yeah, I do. Can we get a poll? I'm going to say yeah. I think that Alabama keeps Jaylen.
What did we ask earlier if they were worried about him leaving? That one was like 75%.
Just put a poll. Just be like,
do you think we keep him?
Yeah, based off today, do you think that Jaylen Mbakwe, you know, stays at Alabama? Sean, 1,000,000%. Saban and Pat McAfee, that's probably one of the best duos that there's been in college football, right? I think like those two, who would have thought that those two were like yin and yang? Ryan Wingo is pretty. Oh, when is that, Ryan? Ryan Wingo is saying 24/7 is predicting Jaylen Mbakwe to Ole Miss.
Why? Because everyone's going there.
Damn. What?
Well, what? Like, did they fall into a pit of money? What happened here? How did Ole Miss?
Why is Ole Miss so
happening?
rich? Does Ole Miss have?
Them?
Does Ole Miss have more money than Bama?
Or does
Bama just not spend?
Yeah, I think that they're spreading it out more than we are.
Maybe that's why, because I've always said that Lane has outgrown Ole Miss, but maybe he's like, yo.
Maybe he's just funding them.
No. Maybe he's like, I would leave this program, but we are so rich.
No way. Hang on. Ole Miss NIL expenditures for football in 2024 are estimated to be around $13 million. What is Bama?
I thought Bama was more than that.
Yeah, I think it is. Because I think I remember seeing like a ranked list, and Ole Miss was way behind us.
And then you have these are some transfer portal targets in case you missed on this earlier. I think the two new names are Cameron Calhoun and then Cam DeBerry out of Texas A&M, offensive lineman. I don't know. I'm like, because Ole Miss is like, if you leave right now, people are like, oh, it's Ole Miss, it's Ole Miss, and sometimes there's usually the case. But I always hear like people are like, Bama just doesn't spend. So I don't know.
Shuggy Bear saying they've heard that Ole Miss has real tree money.
Shuggy
Bear.
I love that name. Shuggy Bear. What's up, Shuggy Bear? Oh man, so Lance is saying that this whole instance with Jaylen Mbakwe could ruin the locker room. I wonder what the locker room will be like, because think about this. Jaylen Mbakwe, let's say whatever happens, if Alabama decides and somehow figures out a way to keep him, right? And they keep him. And like Casey Poe last night went to social media and he said, if they ain't, rolling with the tide, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's got to create some division inside the locker room. Hopefully they're able to get past that. But it seems to me like we hear more about social media from the players than we did under Coach Saban. That just seems like something, think about it. Like, I think Coach Saban was excited about like the podcast and stuff like that, but you never got to hear from like freshmen. And I think you hear way more from players on social media, which I think is good. I mean, it does build up their brand. But that's something that is completely different under the new regime with Coach Jaylen DeBoer. Scott Mack is saying Mbakwe's girlfriend said that Bama matched the money. That's something that's out there. But I think Alabama fans, there's been some fans that are like, no, they didn't. They're just figuring out a different way to get him on the field. Let me ask you inside the comment box. Do you think Alabama matched the money? Or do you think they just figured out a way to get him on the field? Look, if somebody offered you $7 million or seven figures rather, and then they're like, hey, we can't pay you seven figures. We can bump your pay raise and get you, on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know. Jalen Milroe, $2.2 million. I think Milroe is making way more than that, but yeah, they have the money for sure. Marcel Lewis is saying Mario Craver is an interesting one since Jalen is his teammate. A lot of people like Mario Craver. D, what's up, man? Aaron Washington, what's going on? Appreciate you being here. Cody Hurd, what's up? Cody's like, if they match $1 million, they're stupid. Nicole was like, I don't know, it's so crazy right now. I know, like last night we were trying to like decipher like quotes and stuff like that. I get it. It's from a movie, but still, that's what I know, everybody was doing that. What did Marcel say? Because
Movie?
Bingo, we got action. I think it's from next Friday, one of the Fridays.
Oh, okay.
Wait, Marcel has a question, or Marcel has a good point. I guess that's in terms of Mario Craver because he was teammates with Bach, right? Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. How do you think this is all going to shake out? Do you think that this is going to be put to bed by the end of the day? Or do you think this will play out for the rest of the week? Coach Jaylen DeBoer speaks, by the way, to the media tomorrow. I 100% would imagine that nothing is asked about this. It would be like, what's your experience? How excited are you about playing against Michigan in the bowl game? Do you think somebody will ask Coach Jaylen DeBoer about Jaylen Mbakwe? I think if anybody will, it'll probably be Mike Rodak. T, what do you think is going to happen? How do you think this is going to shake out? Do you think this will be resolved by the end of the day? I'm saying no.
I don't think by the end of the day, no.
Wade's world. Wade brings up a really good point. Who's going to fill the Husky position? Ooh. I would think it makes sense to give that position, or at least, maybe can Jaylen Mbakwe play the Husky position and battle it out with Red Morgan? Look, I love Red Morgan, and I think he's going to develop well, but there needs to be competition at the Husky position because that wasn't it. Mm-hmm. I mean, with Devontae Smith, even Devontae Smith, I think he was okay, but he wasn't great. Jaylen Mbakwe is 100%. He's a much better athlete than Devontae Smith, and I love Devontae Smith. But he's no Jaylen Mbakwe. Let me show you some roster management real quick. as we go over this. If you're new, roster management is basically just looking at every single position as we go forward.
Kobe just committed to Baylor.
All right, can we get a graphic on that? Mm-hmm. Kobe Prentice has just committed to Baylor. You know who else is out in the transfer portal again was JoJo Earl. You saw that, right? JoJo Earl back in the portal.
I didn't see that.
JoJo Earl's back in the portal. Jake Pope back in the portal. Damian George back in the portal. Breaking news: Kobe Prentice just committed to Baylor.
Baylor. Does that surprise you?
It
does me.
I don't know. I had to think about it. Not really. I think he'll have a solid season there. You're looking at probably 50 catches for 700 yards or something like that. Swervo, what's up, man? He's saying Red Morgan has to play with more control. I think back, Swervo, to there was a couple plays earlier in the season where I thought he was super aggressive, so much so that he got a couple penalties called on him. But I liked his physicality. There was a couple times he was just straight up beat, but so was, Xavier Brown. So was Zay Mincy. All these freshmen got cooked. All of them did, which is fine. There's just freshmen out here playing SEC football. Here's the quarterback room right now. Going into this bowl game, you'll have Jalen Milroe, who's going to play, Ty Simpson, and then Austin Mack. There was some people out there saying that there's some theory that it's going to be Jalen Milroe the first half, and then he's going to turn the keys over to Ty Simpson. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think this is a must-win game, and I think you're going to see Jalen. I think you're going to see the same offense that you saw the whole season against Michigan. Okay? Period. Jay Beck is saying, Kyle, did you see Barrett Alexander's picture from Penn State? No. And that's the other thing is all these players are getting all these tats. I would get tats of all the places that I went on my back. I would be freshman year, sophomore year, and then on your NFL teams that go all the way down your back. That's the way to do it. Next year, here's the quarterback room. As you know, Ty Simpson, Dylan Lonergan will be out. Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. Here's a look at the running back room. Jan Miller, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, A.K. Deere. Healthy running back room. The tight end room for next season, you got Danny Lewis, who withdrew his name. You have Josh Cuevas, Jay Lindsey, Ty Lockwood, Caleb Edwards, and Marshall Pritchett. Alabama receiver room as of right now. Crystal ball prediction for Texas A&M to land Mario Craver. Did you get that? This is just in, fam, okay? Looking at your wide receivers. This is from Matt Zenitz. Have teamed up with Chris Hummer to place a crystal ball prediction for Texas A&M to land Mississippi State wideout Mario Craver. Ow. That's not good. But we still don't know about where Horton is going. Here's the wide receiver room. Let's imagine all these guys are healthy, and you have Isaiah Horton in from Miami. Lisa is saying, I heard that Jalen is turning over the keys to Ty Simpson and wish him well, just like Bryce did before. Yeah, this seems to be the odds-on favorite is that, Ty Simpson will be the quarterback. And I think he'll have to hold off that spot against Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. I think Ty should 1,000,000% come out in springtime and be the absolute quarterback. But I think it's up to Coach Kalen DeBoer and his staff to make sure that the best absolute player, and listen to what I say, okay? I have great respect for Ty Simpson because I have never seen that guy complain. He graduated. He seems like he comes from a remarkable family. But I don't want him to have the spot because he stayed here. I want Coach Kalen DeBoer to play the best player at quarterback, regardless of where they are, how long they've been here. I don't care about that. I care about winning football games. And it's his job to win football games. Not to play favorites, not to play buddy-buddy. It's to play the best player that puts you in position to win a national championship. The standard here at Alabama isn't 9-3. It's not the playoffs. It is a national championship, still in this climate of college football, okay? And when you have the number one player coming in from the country, you give him an opportunity to battle for that starting spot. And if he can operate the offense at the highest level, then you let Keelan Russell be the quarterback of this team. And if it's Austin Mack that beats out those two, then so be it. But your job and your sole responsibility is to start the absolute best player here at the University of Alabama, regardless of how long they've been here, because the best player has to be the starter, period. And I'm excited about Latsier Brooks and Derek Meadows too. And you know what? We really haven't even seen Amari Jefferson. I don't think he got to play much this year. Alabama offensive line. Look, we still know that Alabama needs to take a right tackle. There's a couple guys that are coming over. Visiting Alabama. I haven't seen anyone that I'm like, oh my God, this is a must get. If you just missed it, 2 pieces of news while we're on. Kobe Prentice has just committed to Baylor, and then Mario Craver has been predicted to go to Texas A&M. Derek Say, what's up, man? See you inside the comment box. So next year, you're going to have Caden Proctor come back. And I think there's a misconception. Caden Proctor has to come back because he'll be a junior. He's only been here 2 seasons, so that's great news. Parker Brailsford already announced that he's coming back. That is great news as well. Jaden Roberts, you got to think that he comes back for his redshirt senior year. That means 3 offensive linemen are going to come back, and you got to hope that Jaden Roberts at 100% is the player we think he could be. I don't think he could play at 100% because the guy was always banged up. Now, the biggest storyline is who's going to be the right guard or the additional guard with Jaden Roberts. Is it going to be Michael Carroll or Geno Vandermark, or are you going to have a transfer come in, and who the hell is going to play tackle? Is it going to be Elijah Pritchett or Welcome Formby? Can these guys have a breakthrough development going into next season? Quite possibly. Look at what Seth McLaughlin did. He was the worst center in the world ever in the history of college football, and then the next year he won the Remington Award with Ohio State. Still one of the things that I can't figure out. Think about that. That would be like the equivalent to Welcome Formby winning the most outstanding right tackle in college football. Seth McLaughlin was the worst center here ever that I've ever seen. I'm sure he's a wonderful person, and he's going to go to the NFL. But, man, when he was over here, that was crazy. I've never seen stuff like that before. But some people were saying it was because of Jaylen. I have no idea. And here are your other offensive linemen. You got Michael Carroll. We're excited about him. Micah DeBose and Mal Waldrop out of Alabama. And then you have Jackson Lloyd. This Jackson Lloyd, dude, you can't really tell by this little photo right here. This guy is an incredible athlete. He plays all sorts of sports, basketball, baseball. This dude can throw down windmill dunks. Will he be ready? I have no idea, but let's not lose sight of him. So 4 offensive linemen coming in. X is saying we need to replace Nick Sheridan. I don't think Coach Kalen DeBoer will. I think the original plan was to bring in Ryan Grubb, and we all know how that happened. That was still one of the more uncomfortable times covering Alabama football. Was when Ryan Grubb was like here and kind of recruiting, but he would never put on like Alabama attire. Those are rough. Redfish Stalker is asking trending topics right now. Freddie Roach, people are saying that he's being replaced. I haven't seen that anywhere. So like, I haven't heard that.
People talk about it on Twitter and say there's rumors that he's leaving or that he should go, but I'm not seeing any of like the team reporters saying anything about it.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that either. Another thing is, if you're just joining us, Kobe Prentice committed to Baylor, and then Mario Craver, he has been predicted to Texas A&M. He just visited on Monday.
Guess Chuck's wasn't that good.
Chuck's is always good. You know what?
No.
Chuck's is always good, and don't sleep on this. I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, who's been to Chuck's inside the comment box? Raise your hand. Okay, the thing to know about Chuck's, you go there obviously for sushi, but don't sleep on their pizza.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Jarvis, what was, man? I missed that. What was cringe? Don't sleep on Chuck's pizza. That pizza is really good. Get it to go. You can reheat it. Solid. Alabama's defensive line, you got 3 transfers out from the defensive line. You got Jaheim Otis, who committed to Colorado. You have Damon Payne, who just hit the transfer portal this morning. And then you have Hunter Osborne. Those are the 3 guys that will be leaving Alabama. And then when you look to next season, we need a transfer stamp on Damon Payne, or you could take him off. But you have Tim Keenan, James Smith, Edric Hill, Isaiah Fega, Beeman, London Simmons, and then Steve Mbakwe. Those are the guys coming in. Nick Bowling, man, what's up? I appreciate. Oh, the Grub Jarvis is talking about the Grub situation. That was weird. It just never felt. I think we have like a natural inclination of like when something is like right or wrong. That with the Ryan Grubb thing just seemed really wrong. I'll never forget there was a picture somebody took it. He was talking to like the Red Elephant Club.
Oh my gosh.
And everyone in the background was like this. They're like, we smell bullshit. That was crazy. Why are we asking about Mbakwe still? I think we're just going to continue to track this, but it seems like more and more that he's leaning towards staying with Alabama. This is fluid, just like this graphic that T's working on. Okay, the bandit position. This is what we think it could look like next year, depending on LT Overton and if he goes the NFL. 33. He had a wonderful season. I'd be really surprised if he comes back. I don't know. Keon Keeley, this is an experiment. We're all waiting to see what happens. Jordan Renard, he's very, very talented. And then Jamarian Lathan, I don't know. He could come back next year. He has an extra year eligibility somehow. I think it's because of COVID. And then you have Cavante Henry, who was just brought on board to play Bandit. But he's a little bit undersized right now. Not under-talented. He might be my, like, sleeper. Like, he's not a sleeper, but he might be, like, one of the guys to absolutely have a monster season. He's on my hype list. I need a hype list. The Wolf position, you got Quay, Yanzi, Noah Carter, and then you bring in Justin Hell. Robert's like, that DL looks underwhelming.
It did, kind of.
This is the DL. Okay, let's see. Tim Keenan, you got to think he comes back. James Smith's good. James Smith's really good. Edric Hill, haven't really seen him. Fega, haven't really seen him. Beeman. Maybe the D-line does look a little bit. Well, let me see that. Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think about the defensive line room from this graphic? 10 being like, yeah, these guys can get it. Or like 5, you're like, ooh. Or like 1, you're like, need 2 transfers. Jordan Robertson, what's up, man? Jordan Robertson's like, the defense going to get cooked. Shoot, they got cooked this year a couple times. The only reason I started feeling like a little bit more positive about the defense towards the back in the season is because the secondary showed a little bit of improvement, and they were forcing so many turnovers, right? The Wolf. Wolf.
No, I would get so mad
Wolf.
if you change the way you say it.
Greg DeBoer hater. Anyone else over here just to thinking let 40 transfer out? Well, you're up to what? Is it 15? Yeah, I think it's 15 right now, right? PK205, what's up, man? Appreciate you being up in the house. Byron, what's going on? Sigma saying the D-line's a solid 3. Lynn saying it's a 3. Xavier Duke. Bob Nash saying it's a 1. Yeah, I think people are a little bit low on the defensive line. I get it. It looks a little light right now. Man, I guess we didn't even have time because Damon Payne just hit the transfer portal so fast this morning, but I think that's kind of a loss. I like Damon Payne. I liked his game. Oh, well. In the bandit position, I feel a little bit better here. I have no idea about Keon. This is like another one. Like, I haven't heard anything about this guy, like, ever. Other than he changed positions and added on 30 pounds, and that was it. The backer position looks like this. You have Deontay Lawson. We could put a stamp on Lawson with like a question mark, and same thing with Jahad Campbell. Jahad Campbell's gone. 1,000,000,000% he's gone. Justin Jefferson has to leave because he has no more eligibility. Justin Okoronkwo, Caden Jones, Jeremiah Alexander. I think Daryl Duke Johnson gets in sooner than later. So there's your inside backers. I'm kind of surprised that you haven't seen Alabama look to an inside backer from the transfer portal. Maybe there's not one to bring in or that they haven't been interested in. I don't know. Adam, what's up, man? How long will it take for rules to put in place next season? 2 years? Ever? Regarding the transfer portal, I don't know. I think this is always going to be just college football's broke. Like the system is wrong in so many ways. You know, I asked a question. We have a very popular Facebook channel. It's just Bama Football on YouTube on Facebook. I know. But I was like, what's more broke? What needs to be fixed? I can't remember how I phrased it, but I was like the transfer portal or the way that the teams are picked to make the college football playoffs. They're each broken. You're not taking the 12 best teams, and this is the wild, wild west with the transfer portal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's the worst setup? I don't know. They're both bad. And then here's the corners. We need I guess, put a transfer with a question mark stamp on Jaylen Mbakwe until we find out more. Wiser Square is asking Deontay Lawson. I think Deontay Lawson's probably going to come back because he had an injury. And I think he was a little bit overshadowed by Jahad Campbell. I would have bet the house that at the beginning of the season, Deontay Lawson would be gone. But considering maybe that's why Alabama's not taking a transfer at inside linebacker is because they know that Deontay Lawson's coming back. That's probably it. Here's the corners. Here's the safeties. We put the Husky position with the safeties. So over here you have Devontae Smith, who's transferred out, and then you would have Red Morgan. So I would imagine that Red is a starter, and then you have Bray as a starter at safety, and King Mack. Oh, you're going to have your safety is going to be Malachi Moore and Bray Hubbard. There you go. I was like, oh, man, because Malachi is playing clearly. And then your Husky will be Red Morgan, and then your corners will be Damani Jackson and Xavier Brown. So that's how that'll look. And then next year, looking at your safety room, you have Keon Sabb, King Mack, Bray Hubbard. You could take on this page. You could take Devontae Smith off, and Red Morgan, Cam Howard, Drake Kirkpatrick, and then you're bringing in Ivan Taylor. So, man, there's a lot of news to track. We'll recap it one more time. And remember, fam, as news happens here on Bama Football on YouTube, please hit the notification bell. And I don't even think I did this. I usually do it just one time and then kind of end it. But Bama Football on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up. Really helps the performance of the video. So thank you so much. One more time, just recapping it out. Damian Payne is the latest player to hit the transfer portal. And then Kobe Prentice has committed to Baylor. We will update that as soon as possible. And then in terms of players that are visiting, going elsewhere, you have Mario Craver right here, down here out of Mississippi State. He has been crystal balled to go to Texas A&M after visiting Alabama. New guys in to watch Cameron Calhoun out of Utah, and then you have Cam DeBerry. Those are prospects that we are tracking. So as news happens, we'll keep you posted. And then, of course, you know, the big stuff with Jaylen Mbakwe, it kind of seems a little bit more promising today that he will stay with Alabama. So I know you're looking for good news out there. Maybe that's it. You know, just the fact that it's not for sure, I feel is good to go. All right. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for rocking with us. And remember, as news happens, we got you covered right here on Bama Football on YouTube. News happens fast. Hit the subscription button. And thank you so much for joining us today on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Be back as news happens. See you, fam.